Joe Rogan starting to ask questions. That's what's up, man.
Really paying attention, like it seems like it's kind of laid out like the origins of the universe.
What's up, everybody? It's D's, where I got a reaction. All right, I'm about to react. Joe Rogan. He's gonna be talking about the Bible, and it's just like a clip and stuff. But if you watch like Joe Rogan, his podcast, for years he actually kind of goes down talking about from God, Jesus, and everything, and he don't believe of spiritual with God and all that. But now it kind of feels the last year or two, maybe a little longer like that. But now he's starting to open up from the conversations more and more as we go year by year now. And it's interesting to see how a person that he believed this and he switched it up. And that's why is as a person you should be open mind from somebody else to have their opinion. That's one thing. If you want to have a conversation with somebody, you have to be able to have a open mind to both sides, and then you have yours and they have theirs, and you should be cool about it. But the thing how it is now, people don't have conversations. They just listen what I say. Oh, you're wrong, But anyways, let's go. Let's see what they're talking about on this. All right. Let's see.
Science asks of you.
Are y'all ready? Let's go.
Terence McKenna once said it best, that science asks of you one miracle. That's the Big Bang. In the beginning, there was nothing, and then God created the earth and the skies. And it's essentially what the Bible is trying to say. Because if you think about the Bible, right, and if all these people are correct about the original history of sophisticated civilization, if the Randall Carlsons and the Graham Hancocks and the Robert Shocks of the world, they're correct, say the most sophisticated society that we are aware of, which is Africa. If those people that lived in Africa 30,000, 40,000 years ago in Egypt, if they created a society that was infinitely more sophisticated than anything that we had ever seen before, how did they do that? Who did that?
Mm-hmm.
And what was that like? Like, what the fuck was that like?
See, he's starting to open. He's open now. Before you'd be like, I don't believe this and this. It's cool that he's starting to ask questions now. That's where it starts.
What was that like? Like, what the fuck was that like? What was that world like back then?
Well, how about that you have a similar world in Central and South America where they also had built things many thousands of years ago that still, like, how the fuck did you do that? Easter Island, how did y'all make those things?
Yeah.
How in the world? And then move them?
Well, I think if those things go down and then people have to rebuild, I think it takes a long time before people figure out what happened. And I think that's where a lot of the confusion that you see in the Bible comes from. Like, God made the earth and the sky and everything in like 6 days, right? And on the sixth day he rested. What are they actually saying, though? You're getting things that are translated from an oral history of 1,000 years, and then they're writing it down in Aramaic, they're writing it down in ancient Hebrew. Now imagine what you would do if you had the real knowledge of the birth of the solar system, of the development of human beings, and the God energy of the universe, and you tried to translate it over an oral history, because there's no more cities anymore and everyone's dead, and you're just like hunting and gathering as cave people, and you're trying to relay this origin story of mankind, and then it gets written down in parables and it gets written down in Latin. Then they sit down and they look at it many years later and they go, what the fuck were they trying to say? Because so much of what they're trying to say, if you're really paying attention, like, it seems like it's kind of laid out like the origins of the universe.
Hey, one thing, you have to have faith. That's what you have to do, though, to start that kind of way. If you have no faith, if you don't have no faith in anything, then how can you live? Like, you have to have faith to everything, to get better, to always push yourself, and you have to have faith, man. I'm talking about for everything right now. Like, if you watch this to me inside this channel, like, I had a brain injury over 10 years ago, and to be honest, I was stabbed in my brain. And the only thing I know that when I got stabbed in my brain, I blacked out like not too long after when it happened. And last thing I remember, they put me in a coma for three days, 3 nights. And only thing I know is it's just dreams when I had right there, but I guess I'm trying to push myself into the light. The one thing I'm just talking about into my injury. And man, it's just, I think that there's something with me why I'm alive still, because from my injury, I'm not even supposed to do a lot of things what doctors told me. I'm not supposed to walk. I'm not supposed to talk. Like, I'm for real. And everything I came from is because I have faith for myself that I feel there's something for me into this life right here for me while I'm alive. Because there's sometimes that I really believe that I almost passed away or something happens as a child. Like one time I'm right there inside the oceans with my neighbor. He asked me to go. I'm like 9, 10 years old, and we're in the oceans and we're right there and we're like swimming, and a lot of seaweed just came from nowhere, and I'm just trapped for a second, and I'm just like I couldn't breathe, and only thing I know I thought I'm gonna die, man. I'm like about to drown. There's so much seaweed on me, and I just like look into like the sun, and I'm just telling God to me like, please don't let me die this kind of way. And I close my eyes, I open, I'm right there inside the beach, right there, the sand, the water and stuff. Like I kind of just like probably pushed me all the way over there into one spot. So I believe that I have faith for myself, But anyways, let's keep going. This is awesome.
If in the
as long as you start, this is where you start.
They're talking about the Big Bang. Why wouldn't they assume back then that God was always around? Why would they assume that God had to make everything? Why would they assume that there was a beginning and an end just because they have a beginning and an end? Why would they assume that? And why did everybody assume that? Maybe because they fucking knew. Maybe because at one point in time, whether it's 10,000 years ago, 20,000 years ago, they had figured a lot of this shit out.
Well, someone figured something out for the pyramids and the way that they were built.
Yeah.
To be aligned so perfectly with a true north, and
just to be able to construct them. If those people were that smart, why wouldn't we imagine they had an understanding of the birth of the universe? But if we've seen what the Egyptian people were able to build, what was that like? How sophisticated were they? And maybe
they're on the
what
grind.
we're getting at in the Bible is just the longest game of telephone of a true story. It's just all kind of gumbled up in stories, and God's testing you and all this thing about, God telling this guy to kill his kid. Maybe it's just a little screwed up. But it's showing you that there are evil forces at play, and there are temptations that you must resist
lessons
those. Yes.
in a story that you can understand.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Because what is a day to God?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Is that a billion years?
Yeah.
A million years?
100 billion?
Who knows?
Who fucking knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
But it's presented in a way that you can digest it.
Hey, man. That's where it starts, Joe Rogan. Hey. Asking questions now. Okay, that's what's up. You have to have faith, though. Like I said, faith. And, there's you have to go back with the Bible, man. The only thing to me, though, it's just from my brain injury, I couldn't. It took me some years to start reading and writing because my brain just it just wasn't clicking right there into my brain. And I'm starting to read now. It took me years, man, but I gotta go back right there to beginning, but you like, man, that's cool for Joe Rogan, man. He's opening now, and he's starting to. That's where it starts, man. I mean, if you don't believe or you believe, as long as it's like you can't just believe something or disagree, because there's somebody that he's always talking about, a person. I see him all the time, but it's been a while I haven't seen him. He used to always believe about God and Jesus, and you're like, oh yeah, I believe that like Zeus is he's an angel, a falling angel, and this and this, and and he used to say some other crazy stuff about it too, and I'm like, where did you get all these informations from? And he showed me right there, it's just from like some false stuff from a person that he just got right there on the blog person. And he's just like, what if I guess it was this one. It was a god that I guess it had like he kind of looked like Jesus. He showed him. He's like, oh, I think that could be Jesus right here. I'm like, bro, what are you getting this information from, man? You're just so random, man. You have to just read like he's always trying to argue all the time, but I'm like, dude, do you read the Bible at all? He's like, no. I'm like, then how can I have a conversation with you? Yeah, you can't have a conversation like that if you don't have it, if you're not reading at all or something that kind of way. Like, man, so you have to get both sides with it, and then you can have the conversation. You can't just trying to debate when you don't have anything about it. But that's cool with Joe though, how we starting to open his minds and thinking now. So that's what's up. All right, man. Hit me in the comments. Tell me if you like that, man. Like, subscribe, show love. If you always have faith for your life. Have faith, man. Life could be hard. And life is hard, actually, but nothing is not easy, man. Nothing's not easy at all. All right, like, subscribe, show love. Peace.